Warning: the following podcast show that you're about to listen to will include explicit language and content in which you, the members of the audience, may find offensive. Audience discretion is advised.
Welcome to another episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience.
Yeah, boy.
Where anything and everything is a subject matter on the show, and no subject matter is ever taboo.
Damn, that's what's up with you.
And now, your host with the most, Mr. Kim Hoang. Bro, am I getting paid for this?
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? How are you doing? This is your boy Kim Hoang, the Asian sensation, and we're creating here another great episode for y'all of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. This time we are here over at the KU Dungeon in Annapolis Junction, Maryland, which is not far from the regular Annapolis, Maryland. Annapolis, Maryland to Annapolis Junction, Maryland is about, give or take where you live in Annapolis, about like 20 minutes, so it's not bad. From Annapolis Junction, Maryland, if you're trying to go over to Baltimore, Maryland, that's like maybe about, depending how fast you get there, maybe about like 15 minutes, I think. Give or take. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Sean Queen, who is the owner and proprietor of the KU Dungeon, who continuously gives his love and support not only for me, but of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. He's been a guest before, so you might want to check that out. He was one of the executive producers of the movie called Miscalculated, and that is a great movie. If y'all have not checked it out yet, you need to. Right now it is on Tubi, and you can actually buy it on Amazon Video for $4.99. You cannot beat that. We are here today because we have a great episode here. This segment gets pretty wild. We never thought in the wildest dreams that we would ever do this again. But it keeps on getting a lot of popular feedback. And we are bringing back, once again, 21 questions. That's right. There was a stockpile of questions that were asked, but we never got a chance to answer. Some that were like pretty old in the archives, and some that were just recent. So we basically took a collection of those questions, random ones, and we just did it. I allowed some people over to go ahead and take a look at these questions and pick the ones that they felt like it was a good one for me to be on this show, this episode, and record it for your viewing pleasure, or your listening pleasure, really, and and have it all together just like this. So you're in for a treat. However, though, we did get some constructive criticisms that when I usually do 21 questions here, 21 questions I usually do nonstop, and it was a little bit too much. So for this particular episode of 21 Questions, we will have some commercials, so we're going to divvy it up a little bit. Now, for those that don't know what 21 Questions is, basically it is a long format of our Q&A forum, our Q&A segment. We actually took the idea of the name based out of the 50 Cent song, like 21 questions, and it's all about us, and it was just really cool to go ahead and create something in honor of 50 Cent, but to kind of use it in the sense like, hey, we're going to ask 21 questions, so it's amazing. For this episode, we have 21 questions, but we also have 3 bonus questions. So what we're going to do is that, for this segment, we're going to start the first part of it, where we're going to do 7 questions, and then a bonus question thereafter. When we come back in for the second segment, we're going to repeat the same thing, where we're going to answer another 7 questions, which is questions 8, through 14, and then answer a bonus question yet again. And then when it's all said and done, when we come back for the final, part of the show, we will answer questions 15 through 21 with a final bonus question. It's going to be good. It's going to be interesting. But because that we have 21 questions, obviously we're not going to have any Q&A. So that's going to be thrown out the window. And because we're going to be doing this now, I'm going to go ahead and read something that we normally put at the end, but I feel like we're going to need to do it here, right now, which is that the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience is asking help on a voluntary basis to anyone out there that would like to assist our podcast show by the ways of sponsorship and or financially donating to the podcast show to help make the quality of our podcast better. Any and all proceeds that we raise, the capital and the money that we raise, will go towards getting more equipment and better equipment that we need for our podcast, such as microphones for our in-studio guests, the XLR cables that we'll need for those microphones, headphones for our in-studio guests, and even a MacBook Pro, which actually helps create the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience episodes that you listen to on a regular basis. Now, whatever you can donate, we definitely appreciate that, and it'll help no matter what. So insert the joke, although if anybody does have the financial needs to do it and you want to do it, I'm all about it. But say, for example, if you want to donate $5 million, which I don't think anybody else would do it, but hey, you never know. We definitely would appreciate that, and we would thank you so much. If you want to even donate as little as $5, hey, every little bit helps. And again, thank you for your help and your contributions. You can make a donation at the following by either using PayPal and Venmo. All you need to do is donate to my tag name, which is my personal one, at KimHoangMDActor. Once again, that's at KimHoangMDActor. Or you can go ahead and donate via the app called CashApp, which is available on iPhone and on Android. Just donate over, once again, to my personal tag, the $ Kim Hoang MD Actor. Once again, $ KimHoangMDActor. Guys, this is it. We're going to be jumping into it now. 21 questions, and man, I'm just pretty excited. So we're going to be going for it, and we are going to start right now. Question number 1. Kim, what were your reactions of field goal kicker Justin Tucker's release from the Baltimore Ravens? Lucille from Dundalk, Maryland. Holy crap. Wow. This one's really going to hurt because honestly, for me personally, I have to first give respect to Justin Tucker. Without a shadow of a doubt, one of the best field goal kickers out there in the history of the NFL. When he first got into the NFL, we got Justin Tucker in the Ravens as a rookie. And in his rookie year was the year that the Baltimore Ravens won their second Super Bowl. And I got to tell you, everything that we did, was because of Justin Tucker. Not only just winning the Super Bowl and doing very well that season, but since that season, he's done a lot. And, there are a couple of games that we couldn't have done it without him. When I first heard that, when he got kicked off, that he basically got released from the Ravens, there was a huge debate about what happened. A lot of people were saying that because the last few seasons he was really doing terrible, especially this past season where, he only hit about like 73% or 72% of all of his field goal attempts and everything like that. That was kind of atrocious. That was like something that we did not expect. But also, with the allegations of what happened with him, with 16 women, accusing him of inappropriate behavior and stuff like that. It really just piled on, and to the understanding, I get why the Ravens would go ahead and release him, but to be honest with you, at least from what I know right now, he hasn't gone to trial. He hasn't been found guilty or not guilty. So I don't even know what the heck is going on or why the Ravens would even want to do that. I really feel like the Ravens should let him play until he's found guilty otherwise. It's the same thing, honestly, with what happened with Ray Lewis. He was accused of murder and he went to trial, but he was, I guess, either he was found not guilty or just something happened, but he didn't have to go to jail. I guess maybe the case got thrown out or whatever. And, because of that, the Ravens still let him play. He was still a member of the team. So with Justin Tucker no longer being a member of the team and getting released, just because of that allegation, I'd be like, look, you need to at least prove it first before, deciding to let a person go. I think that he is innocent until otherwise, but that's just my opinion. And I know that might be an unpopular opinion to some, and I'm prepared to accept that. But that's how I feel. Question number 2. Kim, what do you enjoy about podcasting? Ian from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Ian, when it comes to podcasting, I love telling stories, and I love to be on the mic to share those stories. Some of them are autobiographical because it's based on real life experiences that I probably have went through, or just something that I know about, or something that I'm familiar with. And either way, I'm really excited to, share, those experiences and my thoughts about those experiences. What's even cooler is that when I actually have an in-person guest, or just a guest that I have through, Zoom and so forth, I enjoy learning a lot about my guest, because at that point, it's not about me. Not that it ever was, but it's about my guest. And I want to know a lot about my guest, and I want to share what my guest is all about to my audience, because they're there to listen about what's going on and what I'm saying. And if a person is in there, they want to know who this person is all about and what they do. So yes, that's why I enjoy it so much, and it's great. It's lovely. I never regret it, and I love podcasting, and I'm going to stick with it for a long while. Question number 3, Kim, what do you think about fruit-flavored beer or the concept of it? Yes or no? Beatrice from Revere, Massachusetts. Beatrice, I think it's okay. I don't think it's a bad thing. In the summertime, they always have this thing where it's like a strawberry beer that they call a blonde. And when I drink it, I can taste the heavy strawberry notes, and I think it's very pleasant, and I think it's amazing. I think that more beers are coming out with those fruit flavored or fruit noted kind of variety of beers. And I think it's great, and I think it's popular. And I think they should keep going, As long as you can, make a beer taste good, and, it feels like, it could be a winner, and that you can actually advertise it properly and so forth, and give it a good, reputation. I think you're in there. Just don't make a beer that is very questionable. I would not drink Old Bay flavored beer. I wouldn't drink, Red Hot Chili beer. That's insane. And that's just me. That's just me. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay, don't leave it at that. Question number 4. Kim, have you ever witnessed any unprofessionalism and or drama on a film set? Terrence from Jackson, Mississippi. Terrence, I've seen and witnessed a lot of that, more than you think. It's not uncommon that sometimes that type of thing will happen. And I have seen my fair share of unprofessionalism and drama. It was, when I witnessed it, I just felt like it was something that was really unneeded, and it was something that was unwarranted. And the fact that, even now with film projects that I'm not associated with, it's common for me to hear that something happened, in that manner. And I will say this, I was always taught that when you bring drama to the set, when you're unprofessional, that's just a bad look on you. And chances are, when you display that on a film set, people are going to remember that, especially the director and the casting officers. And they're going to remember you, and they may, put the nail in your coffin by saying, you know what, we're never going to be working with this individual ever again. So if you're an actor that's on a film set and you're trying to make a good impression, please do everything that you can to be a professional actor and to act professionally on the set. Whatever drama that you got, save, like they say, save the drama for your mama. It's not worth it, dog. It's not worth it. Question number 5. Kim, I'm not a big fan on running as a source of cardio exercise. So what are your suggestions for a substitute of cardio exercising other than running? Because that's a big no-no for me. Louisa from Beaumont, Texas. Louisa, I'm with you on this one. And yeah, I myself do not like running a lot. I think it's a lot going on there. Especially for a big dude like myself, I'm just not a big fan of running. Although, to be fair, running is a very good source of cardiovascular exercise. However, if you want to find like some good substitutes, there's always some good substitutes. Like riding a bike, or just instead of running, you can walk. I think walking is really good. You can do other things like swimming. Or even like what I do is like I do a lot of jumping jacks, and sometimes I do sparring rounds on a punching bag. Just punching a lot on the punching bag and also kicking it. The standard way that you do it is that one round of sparring on a punching bag is for 3 minutes. I like to train for 5 minutes because that's more of like a standard round for an MMA fight. And to me, I feel like you do a lot more with 5 minutes in, your sparring to actually build cardio than you do with boxing for 3 minutes. So, yeah, that's just a little bit of a example of what I do when I don't run. You know what I mean? If you don't run and you decide to do like these other exercises, I don't think it makes you weak. I just think that you're adaptable and you're just, changing something that works better for you. So if somebody makes fun of you for the fact that you're not a big runner, big whoop, but at least you're doing the best that you can to, maintain and build and improve on your cardio in other ways. So there you go. Question number 6. Kim, I know I'm not supposed to ask religious questions, but what do you think about people having some sort of spirituality? Drew from Hilo, Hawaii. That is a fair question, and yes, we aren't really asking so much about like religious stuff except for like having spirituality. So I'm going to give it a pass because normally I don't answer questions like that. But however, I don't think there's anything wrong with having some sort of faith that you believe in. I always think that somebody has to believe in something, whether if it's being a Christian or a Catholic, whether if you worship God or Buddha or Allah or Yahweh or whatever. It's always good to have some kind of leap of faith, if you will. Now, if you're the type of person that just doesn't believe in that, honestly, that is your decision, and I wouldn't, hold it against you. That's just what you have to do. But, I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. So, if you are a person that's very spiritual and you're on that path and you have faith, by all means, wear it loud and wear it proud. I just wouldn't, flash it around other people. You know what I mean? Like, if you're talking to somebody and they're, religious and you're religious, that's fine. But anybody else, I would say hold off on the religion talk. So that's what it is. Question number 7. Kim, should John Bones Jones retire from the UFC and in MMA all in one fell swoop in general? Casey Lynn from Columbus, Ohio. Oh, wow. John Bones Jones is probably one of the best MMA fighters ever in mixed martial arts history. Fighting for, one of the biggest companies in the world, in the MMA world, in the UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championship. A two divisional champion, being a light heavyweight champion, and then a heavyweight champion. I don't think that he has to do anything anymore. I think he pretty much proved the fact that he has beaten the who's who of, mixed martial arts. You know what I mean? And I think that he's done it very well. I think that he's done it with great intelligence and great ability. Nobody can really steal his roses from the fact of what he's accomplished there and who he has fought and has defeated. The only thing that I remember is that John Jones has only lost one time early in his career. But other than that, he was steamrolling the competition. I don't think that John Jones, you have anything else to do. I don't think you have anything else to prove. At your seasoned age, I would just say, you know what, brother, it's time to retire and enjoy life. Maybe, work on the commentary team of the UFC or do something with them. But as far as competing anymore, I don't think that you have to do it anymore. You've already proven yourself and did enough. Nothing more to prove. And before we actually take a break, we have a bonus question. Yes, a bonus question. I'm really happy about this. So, bonus question number 1. Kim, name some of the best burger spots that you ever ate at. Willie from Chicago, Illinois. My guy. Willie, I have ate at a couple of good burger spots. Locally here in the DMV, Five Guys is a good place. I always thought Five Guys was pretty good. Very pricey for their burgers, but I thought it was pretty solid. Other places that I thought that was pretty good that should receive mention, Wahlburgers. I've ate at a couple of Wahlburgers all around in the U.S., especially in Boston, Massachusetts, where, it all started. And I believe that there was one over in Cincinnati, Ohio. I do believe that there was one in the Mall of America over in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I also have had the honor to eat at Whataburger in Texas. I ate a Whataburger. That was pretty good. And there's like another burger that I forgot, but it's pretty solid. But you know what they say, guys. The best burgers that you guys can have are the ones that you make at home. So if you got a barbecue grill, that's already half the battle. Now it's time to get the beef and everything and all the extra accoutrements, and that's that. But guys, let me go ahead and take our first break. This was good for this first segment. I really enjoyed it. But when we come back, we're going to answer another 7 questions and another bonus question So do what you got to do. Go ahead into the kitchen, get something to eat or get something to drink. Go to the restroom, answer a text or a phone call. But, come right back because the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, we're just starting to heat up and you don't want to miss out. We'll see you in a bit. I want to tell you about an amazing store that's really good for all musicians, music enthusiasts, and a whole lot more, which is Chuck Levin's Washington Music Center in Wheaton, Maryland. That's right, you heard it correctly. Since 1958, Chuck Levin's has been actually tearing up the game when it comes to the music scene. And guess what? Since 1958, they have been the store to go to and a must-visit destination for any serious musician passing through our nation's capital. So, if you're actually a person that's in a band looking for a new instrument, such as an electric guitar, an acoustic guitar, a bass guitar, or maybe some drums, if you're a DJ looking for like the greatest DJ equipment, such as turntables and so forth, they got you. Hey, are you actually in an orchestra playing a woodwind instrument, brass instrument, or strings? They got you. They got all the classical instruments that you need. And let's not forget, for all my fellow podcasters, need a microphone? They got you. Need a podcasting vocal track recorder? They got you. They got everything, man. And I'm telling you, it's the best place to go. So if you want to check them out, go ahead and do so, because right here at Chuck Levin's, they're the best. Forget the rest. Mess with the best. Located over at 11151 Veers Mill Road in Wheaton, Maryland. They're open Monday through Saturdays, 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. If you want to know more about what they have to offer, you can go over to chucklevins.com online or give them a buzz at area code 301-946-8808. Chuck Levin's Washington Music Center. Like I said before, don't worry about the rest. Mess with the best.
And now, back to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience with your host, Kim Hoang.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. How in the world are you? We're back again. This time for the second segment of this episode, this iconic, epic episode of our 21 questions. Now, we last left off where we actually answered questions 1 through 7 and our very first bonus question. So now we're going to go all the way from 8 through 14, and we're going to answer a second bonus question. So I'm really excited about this. I have to admit though, like the first round was pretty good. Those were some questions that were very interesting. When I took a break, I had to take a moment and I had to drink some water because I was like, man, these questions are very interesting, but they're good. And somehow I feel like I'm doing okay when I'm answering these questions. So something must be working right. At least I like to think so. But all right, enough of that stuff. So let's just jump right into it. The next set of round of questions for 21 questions. And here we go. Question number 8. Kim, is it the end or is it the beginning? Rex from Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. Wow. This is one of those philosophical questions that you get asked in philosophy class. And I like it because I feel like it's a question that, you can't really get wrong. It's basically your own opinion. So it's very open. But is it the end or is it the beginning? I like to, I'll probably say that my answer is that it's the beginning. Because I feel like there's always a start, somewhere in what you do. And I feel like, it always continues and it doesn't really end per se. I would say that it just keeps going on. So I feel like, it's a beginning, Sometimes it's even a new beginning, but I always feel like it's a beginning. I'm not sure, if I answered this question correctly, but hey, I gave it a shot, right? So, I can't be disqualified for that. Question number 9, Kim, between Walmart or Target, who do you think earns your heart? Which one do you like more? Allison from Council Bluffs, Iowa. Wow. Wow, you're really pulling me on the on the strings here about this one, Allison. This one's a real rough one because I do like both of them very much. I like Target. Well, let me explain it like this. I like Walmart because it's pretty diverse in the fact that you can get anything you want from electronics to home furnishing stuff, to stuff that you need every day in the house, like, cleaning supplies, even like, personal, like, grooming stuff like shampoo and conditioner. And, depending on which locations, it's also a supermarket. You know what I mean? And it's great. Walmart, I think, has a better economic value. You save more. Target, though, is pretty, spot on because it has the same stuff as Walmart, but probably a little bit more of a diverse selection. Minus that Target doesn't have, like a supermarket inside their stores. You can't go to the, and get like a porterhouse steak or something like that, or a whole chicken, like Walmart does. So, who actually wins my heart even more? I got to give it to the boys in blue, the Walmart crew. It's based on the fact that, again, you can get the same type of stuff at Target. Like, example, you could possibly get an Apple iPhone wire, to recharge your phone, like a lightning port to a USB-C kind of a thing. And it's a little bit less expensive over at Walmart than it is at Target. So that's the only reason why I give it to Walmart. But I'm not dissing Target. I love Target. I think Target's incredible. And I'm just going to leave it at that, I mean, I'm sorry for all the Target lovers out there. It's not, hey, I didn't say I hated Target. I really didn't. I just said that Walmart has my heart more. I like it more. Doesn't mean that I hate, Target. I love Target. Like, if you gave me a shirt that says Target on it with, like, the cute little dog for, like, being the, the mascot, I definitely would be down for wearing it 100%. All right. Question number 10. Kim, who is on your Mount Rushmore of martial art actors? Pedro from San Jose, California. Jeez Louise. Oh, you're killing me, Smalls. Oh, God. Wow. That's a hard one. That really is. Because as a martial artist, I've, looked at a lot of martial art movies, seen a lot of great, martial artists that became great actors in that field, and it's incredible and it's lovely. But for you to ask me to pick my own personal Mount Rushmore where there's only 4, you're really killing me here, Smalls. If I had to choose it based on martial artists of all time, whether if they're, deceased or living, I would say this is the following. Chuck Norris, number 1, for sure. I mean, before Chuck became a major, martial arts film star that has been in a lot of major, Hollywood movie films, he was a legit martial artist competing in martial art tournaments, being that he was a black belt in Tang Soo Do and won a lot of grand championships and world championships and a lot of martial art competitions all around the United States. He's definitely legit and the real deal, in my opinion. So I got to give Chuck his due. I loved him in a lot of movies like Missing in Action, Invasion USA, A Force of One, Code of Silence, just to name a few. But for those that remember the actor Jonathan Brandis, you know what I mean, from I think I think was it called Sequest? Yeah, I think that's what it was. Remember him and Chuck Norris in the movie Sidekicks? That was awesome. You know what I mean? Another person that would be on my Mount Rushmore leaves no explanation, Bruce Lee. He definitely did it for the Asian community and for, Asian actors and Asian martial artists. Being in such iconic movies as, obviously Enter the Dragon, but there was, The Way of the Dragon. That was something that I liked. Let me see what else is there. The Big Boss, that was another one. I know I'm missing a few others that I can't name right now, so I'm sorry. There was one movie that he was in that he was filming, and that was his last film before he passed away, which was The Game of Death, where they had to, on certain scenes, you saw Bruce Lee being that was from a previous film that he was in, and then you see somebody else that's trying to play the role of Bruce Lee's character, and it's not him, but it's still the character that he was portraying in The Game of Death. Another person that I thought that I would love to throw in there on the Mount Rushmore, Jackie Chan, for obvious reasons. Plus, he was one of those guys that was not only a martial artist, studying a lot of styles of kung fu and stuff like that, but he did his own stunts. And the fact that a good amount of them, some of the stunts went wrong and he got legitimately injured, proves how good he is. And the fact that he's been in a lot of movies, Drunken Master, Armor of God, what was there? Super Cop, City Hunter, Rumble in the Bronx, Mr. Nice Guy, even for the American classics, Rush Hour, Who would not want to forget that? It was pretty cool. He's a pretty cool guy. He's a great martial artist. He's accomplished a lot, in the film industry, and he deserves to be on there too. The last person I definitely would put in there, I think I probably would put in Michael Jai White, because he's one of those martial art actors that can pretty much do it all. And the fact that he has studied a lot of styles and has a black belt in a good amount of them, or a high level of proficiency, makes me think that, for a guy like him and his size and to do what he can do is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. I definitely would put him in the Mount Rushmore more than I would Wesley Snipes, because originally I was going to put Wesley Snipes in there, and the only reason why I would is that if Michael Jai White was never in the picture, then I feel like that really would have put Wesley in there for sure. But for me, I think the final piece of the puzzle is Michael Jai White, hands down. So there we go. Question number 11, and this one's an interesting one. Actually, I like this question because it's a food question, So I got to give, respect to this question, which is name some of your favorite chocolates to eat. Tessa from Raleigh, North Carolina. My God. There's a lot of brands that I like. Obviously, I was raised on Hershey, so I love Hershey. I think that's like, the basic level entry kind of chocolate to consume, and it's good. I also like Dove. Dove chocolate is good. Dove chocolate's really good. I also like Lindt. Lindt is pretty good. That chocolate company where their chocolate is like in a ball, and then when you eat the ball, it's like oozing in great chocolate or caramel or just something really good that just makes that chocolate company like proper. You know what I mean? I also like Ghirardelli. Ghirardelli is pretty dope. I think that they have a lot of great varieties. The taste is amazing. You can't beat it. I used to at one point like Godiva chocolate, but since then, I think that, number one, you don't really see their chocolatier shops anymore of Lindt, of Godiva. Godiva is no longer around anymore in terms of like having their own chocolate shops in the major malls of America. You can buy their chocolate pretty cheap now, like at CVS or something like that. So I'm just like, So it just makes me believe that, Godiva was all hype, if you will. It really, it was nothing really to sneeze at in the first place. It was just a bunch of dudes making a chocolate company, trying to make a buck and claim that it was the best in the world, and people subscribe to it. So I don't know. That's my opinion. Question number 12. Kim, what are your opinions on former UFC/MMA fighter BJ Penn's recent arrests? Joseph from Henderson, Nevada. I read some stuff about it. To be honest with you, I don't know too much about it. I know that he has been arrested on 3 different occasions. I know that he's been out on bond for 2 of them, paying himself $1,000, to get out. I think there is some issues going on with his family that he's trying to separate from the pack, and that's all I know. I hope, like Justin Tucker, that, he's not guilty of whatever he's being accused of. But with some MMA fighters, it's really hard to justify whether they're innocent or not. Because I'm not saying all of them, but a fair amount of them do get themselves in some deep trouble. And at that point, it's like, man, the writing's on the wall, the evidence is clear. You really screwed the pooch on this one. And that's all I'm going to say. Oh, what the hell? Oh, wow. Question number 13 states, Kim, in an imaginary battle between Spider-Man, Captain America, Wolverine, and Thor, who would win the title of this MCU, the Marvel Comic Universe bout? Katrina from Billings, Montana. You really put a lot of thought in this one, so I can't be mad about that. And the only thing I'm mad about is that you named 4 superheroes that I do like in the MCU, and it kind of hurts because I have to choose one. However, if I had to choose one, hands down, I would pick Wolverine. I mean, him and his healing factor is a great thing. His adamantium claws can cut through any type of surface anywhere, on the planet and the galaxies. It's hard to beat Wolverine. Like, I feel like it is. Like, I think he would pistol whip Captain America like no problem. And Spider-Man, he would cut them to shreds. Thor, he might have a little bit of a challenge there, but I think that he would be able to win that one. Honestly, I really think that, it's just a sign. I think that, he would just say, you know what, guys, I'm going to show you the reason why I'm number one. And chances are, I feel like he really could do it. If you just give him that chance, I think he would just show the world why he's the best in the MCU. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. Question number 14. Kim, if you were to build your own karate dojo, what would the ground surface be made of? Trent from Scarsdale, New York. Trent, I think I actually would do traditional wood, just like the old school karate dojos. And there's something about the wood, you're feeling the surface of the wood on your feet, and that traditional feeling of working on traditional wood like bamboo or whatever works a lot better. I do know that different martial arts studios have those mats that are good for falling and so forth, and I don't disqualify them for that. I think that's fair and safety first and so forth. The only thing that I feel like would be such a disadvantage is that if you're working on say forms or something like that, with the slick surface of the karate mats, you might slip and fall. Especially if you sweat a lot and the sweat hits that. If the sweat hits that ground of the mat, and your foot happens to catch it. That just means you're going to fall right down on the ground and lose control, most likely. But, it's cool either way what you want, but I think the best way is the wooden floors. I would definitely get wooden floors 100% without fail. Without fail. That being said, let's go over to our second bonus question. Kim, name a phrase that you like to use a lot. Patricia from Brasilia, Brazil. Oh, oi, tudo bem. There is a phrase that I like to use a lot, and I usually say, figure it out. And real quick, the story about how I got figure it out is that, growing up, I've always had this friend of mine. And I would always ask him certain questions about certain things and so forth. And he would want me to, understand that I have the potential and the intelligence to go ahead and solve those, questions that I have, of what I'm asking my friend. Because he really thought that I could do it. And he thought that I was intelligent enough to figure it out. So when I would ask him a question, he would always just say, figure it out. You know what I mean? Just figure it out. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a break. When we come back, we will finish and complete the 21 questions with the final bonus. So far, we have answered 14 questions and 2 bonus questions. All that's left are questions 15 through 21 and the final bonus question. I'm excited. So, guys, do what you need to do. Take a break. Come right back, though, because the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, we're about to kick it into 6th gear, baby. So, do what you need to do, but come back because, we're just starting to cook. The heat's rising up, and you don't want to miss out. We'll see you in a bit. In life, we all want to have great health and excellent physical fitness. However, it's never given, only earned. That said, if you want to go to a gym that will help you to get there, then look no further than Kicked Up Fitness at National Business Parkway in Annapolis Junction, Maryland. Their mission at Kicked Up is to provide the ultimate functioning training facility that focuses solely on your success. With a diverse team that's highly qualified and dedicated to taking your fitness goals to the next level. Kicked Up also offers a variety of group classes and personal training programs that provide something for everyone, regardless of your fitness level. They believe in working hard, achieving results, all while having fun. So come visit their facility in person, which is located at 114 National Business Parkway, Suite 100 in Annapolis Junction, Maryland, 20701. Now, if you see my friend Sean Queen, who's the owner of Kicked Up, tell him that Benny Chow of Miscalculated sent you, and he'll hook you up with a complimentary 7-day pass just to try it out. Need more info? Give him a call. 410-888-9066. Email them at kufitnessnbp@gmail.com or visit them at their website at www.kufitnessnbp.com. Kicked Up Fitness. Never given, only earned.
And now, back to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience with your host, Kim Hoang.
And welcome back. How you doing? And we are here. And this is it, the final part of 21 questions and including a bonus question. I'm liking it. I feel like, we've been nailing it, question after question after question. And I have to say this. In this new format where we're actually taking breaks, I do feel a little bit more energized, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm really rushing it and I'm running a long endurance, I'm just taking it step by step. So I actually like this a little bit better. So it's not bad. So let's go ahead and finish strong, guys, where we, began. So it's, we got the last of these questions. I just want to nail it. Let's go for it. Question number 15. Kim, what brand of televisions are your favorite? Marissa from Cupertino, California. Yo, Cupertino. That's where the home of the Apple headquarters is at. My favorite brand of television would be Samsung for sure. Not to say LG isn't bad. My family members have an LG, and it's pretty good. Sony's are not bad. It's definitely the television company that, in my opinion, made quite the revolution. In the 80s and 90s and so forth. I thought that Sony was pretty good for what it was worth. Obviously, TCL, it's good for the value, you know what I mean? And Hisense is good for the value too, but for me, it was always Samsung. I always thought that they had better choices, better options, better controls, and I always thought that the picture was a little bit better for me, in my opinion. Plus, a lot of people that I know that are in the video gaming, industry, when they go out for tours and stuff like that, the number one TV that they use for demonstration purposes, especially for like the big screens, wouldn't be the Samsung without question. Question number 16, Kim, is it wrong for a person to be too particular for who they want in a companionship or relationship? Roger from Lincoln, Nebraska. No, I get this question a lot. This is the first time that I'm addressing it in this format. I don't think there's anything wrong for a person to be, too particular, because I feel like the person knows what they want for a companionship. Like, fellas, you know what you want in a woman. And because you're, saying your piece about what you would like in a woman, you're just basically telling us That's who you would like to be with. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. At least in my opinion, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. The only thing I would say is that be forewarned that if you are a little bit too particular, too much to the point where you're putting like too many prerequisites on, the perfect woman for you, then she may not be there. And then you're just going to be stuck with, what's out there, right now. I definitely think that, when it comes to, what you like about a woman and who you want to be with, it's definitely about checks and balances, but it's also about, being fair. And it's also about like giving a little bit of opportunity. Like, let's say, for example, I find a girl who's intelligent and, who's beautiful, and she does work out, but she's not 6 foot. She might be 5'1", 5'2". I can oversee that. You know what I mean? I can oversee that. Maybe I want her to be a college graduate, Maybe I want her to come out of an Ivy League school. Well, what if she graduated from the University of Maryland College Park, but she fits all the other criteria? I'm going to disqualify her for that because she's not an Ivy Leaguer? Forget about it. You know what I mean? So it's good to have standards. It really is. And it's good to be particular. Too particular, well, just be careful. That's all I got to say. Question number 17. Kim, you mentioned that in your system of Taekwondo that you train in, you wear an all-black uniform once you earn a third-degree black belt. So, did that make you jealous knowing other schools and systems can wear it at any time before that rank? Maxine from Quebec City, Quebec, Canada. Oh, God. Wow. Maxine, I do have to be honest with you. I was a little bit jealous because, when you have like the all black uniform, it's a cool looking uniform, man. Like, it really is. It's awesome looking. It looks like when you wear an all black uniform, it's just like there seems to be like, a symbolism of like power, like, how Superman has like the superhero cape, you know what I mean? It's just that sense of power, But I would say that being the person that I am now, I understand it a little bit better, and I'm glad it worked out that way because it just symbolized when you actually earned your third-degree black belt and you wore that all-black uniform, that basically what it boils down to is that, you needed to grow and you needed to mature in your martial arts rank, in your martial arts age. And because you got that far, that gave you the right to wear that particular uniform. It's just like, when you earn your first degree black belt, now you can wear the black belt uniform, which is basically a white uniform with black trimming and, all around, like, the chest and the neck. And like there's like a black cuff around the sleeves, symbolizing that you are a black belt in martial arts, and you have the honor and the legitimate right to wear that information. So yeah, I mean, I was definitely jealous at first, for sure, because I always thought that, man, I could wear a all black uniform. I think it's kind of cool. And, I guess in some senses, I could have wore an all-black uniform if it was for, like, costuming purposes only for, like, movies and such like that. But, as far as anything else went, yeah, I couldn't wear it at the time. But now that I'm a third-degree black belt and, I've gone through, what I needed to do, paying my dues and so forth, yeah, now I can wear that black uniform. And I wear that with pride. But only if I want to wear that black uniform. I could change it where maybe I just want to wear an all-white uniform because the white uniform, that's where it all began. Or maybe I just wanted to stick to wearing my traditional black belt uniform with the black trim and the pants that have like the black stripe on the side. So yeah, I mean, that's it. That's it. Question number 18. Kim, would you ever consider getting a blackout tattoo? Harold from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I wouldn't do that. I couldn't do that. Tattoos, you get tattoos because, it's something that you want and it's something that means something to you. If it doesn't mean anything to you at all, then why did you get it in the first place? I'd rather, if I got a tattoo, and this is a huge if I got a tattoo and I didn't like it anymore, I would like to try to cover it up for something else. But blackout, I'm not part of that Polynesian culture, so I would never wear it. Obviously, it takes a long time to black out a certain tattoo, and it hurts because they have like this shader needle that has like maybe like 100 needles, and it's basically as long as like a ruler stick. You know what I mean? And just imagine getting raked with that type of needle continuously, just covering up something that a tattoo that you just don't like anymore. Nah, can't do it. I just don't like it. I don't think it looks good on me. I don't think it's an attractive fit, and I just wouldn't go for it. Not at all. Cover up, yes. If I could afford it, laser surgery, sure, I would do that too. But I would never get a blackout. No blackouts. Not at all. Nope. Done. Question number 19. Kim, what do you think when people buy old clothes from thrift stores rather than buying brand new ones? Willa from Trenton, New Jersey. I do that too, Willa. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, some people, they just want to buy old clothes for a lot of reasons. Maybe because it looks good and it's very trendy. Some people just want to buy old clothes because they can't, they can't really spend a lot on like the brand new ones, and I think that it's fine. I could care less. It doesn't bother me, and it shouldn't bother anybody else. You know what I mean? You're not the one that's making those decisions to buy clothes at a thrift store and buying like older clothes. So if it doesn't bother you at all in that sense, then you should really back off. If anything, you're buying old clothes from a thrift store, you're saving some money, right? Good on you. Or you just found something that was used, but hey, you like it and it looks good. Good on you. I don't have a problem with that. I just hate it when people make fun of you for buying used clothes at a thrift store and try to make you feel like you're the lowest form of dirt possible, which shouldn't be happening, ladies and gentlemen. Please, let's try to be very sensitive to each other in regards to that and just what's going on in general as a whole, So that's that. Question 20. Kim, what is your favorite piece of fashion that you like so much that you can't live without? Douglas from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Douglas, I like Wrangler jeans. I really do. Because they're the brand of jeans for me that I feel like that are very durable and has withstood the test of time. I've come from that. I used to own a lot of jeans from Gap, a lot of jeans from Banana Republic, a lot of jeans from Levi's, and they all seem to have like a short lifespan where for like, $20-some, I can get a pair of, Wrangler jeans, and some of them with that, that flex on waistband, some of it just like stretches out very easily, and I would wear it and I would feel real good. You know what I mean? And it's incredible because they're comfortable, they're durable, they're very ideal for a lot of martial artists because it helps you to kind of like move around a little bit better. And especially if you're kicking, there's just extra built-in flexibility in the jeans for that purpose. So that's what I would say is jeans from Wrangler. Yeah, that's the one thing that I can't live without. All right. Question 21, which technically ends 21 questions, but there's more on the way. Kim, what's the best cartoon ever? Terry May from Fisherville, Virginia. Dude, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the 1980s and 1990s, hands down. I was a big fan of Ninja Turtles, and I will always continue to be a fan. I thought it was really good. I loved the storyline. I loved the characters. I love the animation. The voiceover actors definitely played a very good part in that particular cartoon. I mean, who could ask for anything more? You know what I'm saying? So it's all good. All right. Final bonus question of the 3 bonus questions. Question number 3 of the bonus round. Kim, how is your mental health at this very moment? Victoria from Sweetwater, Texas. That is so sweet to ask. Victoria, to be honest with you, I am fine. You know, I think... obviously, you know, I go through a lot every day when it comes to my anxiety and my depression, and I know that I'm not perfect, and I know that I'm dealing with what I have to deal with on an everyday basis. And it's difficult sometimes. It's even difficult to, you know, face those challenges. But the fact that I'm still working on myself and I'm still trying to figure stuff out, and that I'm still here, living and breathing, you know, I'm doing it. I'm doing it, and it's great. And I love the fact that, you know, I'm still doing the best that I can. I think it's wonderful, and I love it. And, yeah, you know, I just thank God that that I'm still here trying to figure life out. All that while, you know, having some mental health support groups, people to be by my side and just to let me know that things are going to be okay. Yo, oh my God, yo, what's up, dude? What's going on? What's this? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we got one more bonus question from the man that works over here at the KU Dungeon, Gus. And Gus gave me a final question, which is, Kim, you've been a podcaster for 4 years, going on a 5th year. What does that mean to you? How do you feel about it? And can you just give us a definitive answer? You know, being a podcaster for 4 years has been an incredible journey. I knew starting this thing, it was going to be quite the challenge. I knew I wasn't going to get paid for it. Matter of fact, I pay a lot for this podcast, you know, and that is... most of that really is $20 annually, so that it can actually be on the Apple podcasting platform, you know, on a continuous annual basis. I think that I really found a great creative medium for me to enjoy, and with this platform, it just kind of helps me to share my story with the world and share my abilities and my talent with the world of what I can do here through the power of podcasting. And you know, when given a microphone and when the record button starts to play and starts to hit and be active. If it wasn't for podcasting, I don't know what I would be doing. But I think that I created a lot of great memories. I created a lot of great opportunity. And the fact that, I'm still here and I'm still doing it, while other people may have started a little bit before me or at the same time as me, which since that time, they kind of tossed in the towel. The fact that I'm doing it for so long just shows the reason of why I do it, and shows my level of dedication. And the fact that I'm doing it still to this day is incredible, which leads me to believe that I'm doing this for the long run and I'm going to enjoy it. And to me, I feel like if you've been out here for years doing it, you're doing something right and you're slowly establishing yourself. So that's what it means. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this whole episode. 21 questions is now over and in the can. And I'm really glad to have participated in this and to answer 21 questions, to be truthful, and to share this with you all. I really do appreciate this. Let's go ahead and close this out, guys, because obviously I'm on borrowed time here, so I just want to go ahead and end this on a good note. So, ladies and gentlemen, as a friendly reminder, we are on a lot of social media pages. We're on Facebook. Just go under the search box and type in the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. Like us and follow us. We appreciate it. We're also on Twitter, now known as X, and Instagram. Follow us under the tag name TKHPC Experience. Once again, that's TKHPCEXPERIENCE. Like and follow, and I will follow you back. That's simple. We are also on, I believe, 6 podcasting platforms in the forms of Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, Audible, and iHeartRadio. Now, do me a favor. Please like and follow and subscribe to my podcast on all of these platforms. If you have Spotify, please give me a 5-star ranking. If you have Apple Podcasts, please give me a 5-star ranking and an awesome written review, because the more times that you do that, the more times that our podcast will be thrown in the front of the line. And it could be a situation where somebody would say, "Yo, what's up? The Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. I heard about this. Mary told me about it. It's an incredible podcast. Let's like it, follow it, subscribe to it, and tell people about it." Yes, 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 and yes. Like the podcast, follow the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, and you know what? Let your friends know about the podcast. Whether if you're letting them know by social media, again, like Facebook or Twitter, now known as X, Instagram. Also, we have other ways of letting people know. We have Snapchat and TikTok. So, yeah. Or let everybody know in person, whether if it's your mom or your dad or your, sister, brother, uncle, aunties, cousins, grandmother, grandfather, whatever. Let them know that the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience is here and in full effect. Because in the business, we call that brand awareness, and sharing is caring. Last but not least, and I ask this out of respect, guys. I ask this out of respect. If you want to be a guest host, if you want to be a guest on the show, if you have any questions for our Q&A form, if you have any constructive criticism, please email me at the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience at gmail.com. Whatever the subject is, put it in the subject box, and in the body of it, just write me an email airing out your grievances that has something to do with the aforementioned the aforementioned, subject matters at hand. So that's all there is to it, guys. Please be safe out there, because, it doesn't do us any good if you harm yourself and land in a pine box and get buried 6 feet under. We don't want that to happen to you. We want you to be healthy. We want you to be happy because you deserve it. And anybody else that tells you that you don't deserve it should go ahead and kiss your tail. You know what I mean? So that being said, thank you. I love you guys. God bless you. Please be safe. And let's keep rocking and rolling, y'all. Let's keep rocking and rolling. For the one time here over in the KU Dungeon, located at Annapolis Junction, Maryland. This is your boy Kim Hoang, the Asian sensation, the man with the plan, the host with the most, the dude with the attitude, saying thank you, appreciate y'all, and we'll do it again real soon. I'm out, guys. It's been real. Deuces. I'm out. Peace.